Alright, so I have drawn out 145 millimeters across. That's side to side of the trailer on the inside of the box. Keep in mind your wheels will sit just on the outside. 200 front to back. Keep in mind also you'll have a drawbar that sits out the front of the trailer about yay long. That way the trailer's not going to be stupid long, it won't look out of scale, etc. with the truck. So I've drawn that out. Next step is the tin snips. Now, let's say this is a fun bit, but it's not. Essentially, I just try and cut along the line as neat as I can. If there's any horrible edges, I can trim them up with my X-Acto blade. Now with this stuff, when you're cutting longer, wider pieces, you need to lift up the back piece, otherwise it's going to hit against your hand. So I make this cut along here. Right, there's that one. Now my hands are probably going to get in the way here, but I'll cut across the front of the trailer. One piece done. That's the bottom of the trailer. What I'm going to do next is draw up a piece for the side. I won't decide the height until I sort of start looking at it and imagine how high it'll sit with the trailer, what's going to look scale. So I'm going to stop this, draw that up, I'll cut those out, then I'll come back. Okay, sides are cut, ends are cut. I also have two longer sides, two shorter ends. So far we're about 15 minutes into the project. Now, side will go on first, then I'll do either inside. That way if there's any trimming that needs to be done off here or off here, I can do that before putting the last side on. So, I'm not sure how we can see this. I will run a quick bead all the way along here. I'll set my glue off to the side. Now, trick here is just to line everything up as nicely as I can on the edge. So what I'll do here is push the base out until it meets the very edge. Sometimes you have to sort of just hold it there a touch. Obviously, I'm not very patient, so sometimes I don't have the perfect edges, but you get that. The best thing with this stuff is you do have a bit of time to move things around, have a play, make sure you're happy with it, etc. Now, if you do use the same glue that I'm using, sometimes you will notice that after so many hours, if you put the glue on too strong, it can deform the material, which is not fun. Sometimes I like to run my finger along it too and just try and break up some of those bubbles so they're not quite as visible when you finish. Right, so one side sitting there. I will now do the front side. I can already see that I'm going to need to trim probably about 1 mil off there, which is fine. I can do that with my hobby knife in a jiffy. So I'll grab the front piece, same deal, run a bead. Doesn't have to be crazy thick. Truth be told, I'm probably doing it too thick, but there you go. I did say it, I'm not an expert. So same deal, I will line this up nice and straight as I can. Same deal again, push everything around a bit till it sort of all fits as wanted. Then in a moment I will open these two up, some glue down here, and then bond those. That's pretty good there, I think. Let's just push the bottom of this corner out a bit. It is a bit hard for me to do all this and have you be able to see everything I'm doing. So now I will fold this in a touch. I'll just try and sneak some of this. Now here's something with this glue. It will form its own little lid with a bond on the top. You just pick a bit of that out and you're pretty well right to go again. Do be careful. If you don't realise that's there, when you squeeze really hard and that pops, it will race out and you'll have glue everywhere. So I'll see if I can sneak. No, it's still blocked. Come on, glue, come out. This is all a part of the fun, of course. I'll just dig some of this out with my little knife here. Like I say, if you do use this stuff, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because it happens quite regularly. So I'll just run a thin bead up there, bring the two sides back up, pinch them together, wipe off some of the excess there so it's not a big ugly mess. Pretty boring, just sitting here waiting for glue to take hold. Right, so that sort of gives you the idea there. I may even trim the slightest piece off here too, just so that the next piece sits nice and flush. But that gives you the idea of how we start to put it together. So I've been doing this now for about 20-25 minutes. Once I've got the other two sides on, well then it's all chassis, which is plain and simple, two rails. I'm not going to worry about suspension on a trailer like this. They don't need to be that fancy to go out and be bashed on the rocks. Do the two sides, do a couple of rails. I'll do videos, etc., showing you. I'll do the same sort of drawbar setup I've done in the other trailers because it's very strong. It seems to work really well. Alright, so in the next one I'll glue these two and then we'll have a look at fenders for the side and wheel placement, etc. Okay, trimmed. This is ready to go on the next side now. So, being as boring as I can, once I unclog the glue, I will run a bead along here. Keep in mind too, usually I do this differently. I'm facing myself, etc., and so on, so it's easier for me to see what I'm doing. At the moment I'm trying to make it easier for you to see. So if any of my camera works a bit crappy, you'll have to excuse that. Right, it's the same deal on the side here again. I'm just going to slowly work this out to the edges. Just get rid of all the excess there. This stuff doesn't really bond to your hands too much either. It's sort of, it'll set, but then you can just scratch it off. It should line up pretty good, I think. Now, the stuff I'm using to build this trailer is 1mm. It's not massively thick. I used to use 1.5 on everything, and it's a pain to cut. It's a pain to glue. I mean, it's not so bad to glue, but cutting it is a big enough pain as it is. So using the 1mm makes the whole job a lot easier. Right, so now I'm just going to drop a bead down the side there, so that obviously we can do the front side to the back side. Work it down a bit. Line these two up as square as we can. Keeping in mind too, this stuff, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, We all have to learn somewhere. I'm not going to put a heap of pressure on myself to pump out, you know, the world's best quality stuff. I build this so that I can have some pretty cool stuff to take out on the trails, or my mates can, etc. If anyone wants a trailer built, you know, it's all about the fun of it for me. I like seeing what I can create. And the best thing about doing it this way is it's all on a budget, so you're not out there spending a fortune. Right, so that is pretty well holding there. So you can see why I like using this stuff, it's quick, because I'm not very patient. Now, the plan is to drop this piece in the back. I usually like to cut everything a touch long, because you can always cut more off it, you can't add to it. I'm going to need to take about, just line it up straight there. I think I'm going to need to take about a millimetre off the end of there. Yep, so just quickly I'll trim about a millimetre off, still using the tin snips. Now hopefully this will fit nicely in the end here. If not, again I can just take another little piece off, which it looks like I might have to though. Just a smidgen. Lovely. Nice and snug. Right, so I will now, I know I'm not displaying this very well, but I'm putting a bead on the bottom as I have. And what I'll do on this one is I'll actually put a bead on either side of it as well. So this way I can drop it in, place the whole thing in one go. Right. Get that to line up there. It's funny because I'm used to just doing this and not thinking about if anyone can see what I'm doing. But obviously, if there's anyone watching this, I have to try and do it so people can see what I'm actually doing. And I'm not used to doing that. Alright, hold that there for a sec. You can see it's brilliant. It doesn't take a long time for it to grab and hold how you like it. Right, so in less than half an hour we have created a bed for the box trailer. Lovely. This is a 1.9 rim with a little 1.9 tyre. I'm thinking if the wheel is placed about yay far back, possibly a touch further forward, it won't be dead in the middle. It'll always be a little bit further back so that it pushes more weight on the drawbar. A lot of people make the mistake of putting it right in the middle or too far forwards. That way your trailer is pushing backwards all the time and that will rattle on the drawbar. Not very realistic. So for this, the wheel will go somewhere. It'll sit a bit lower of course, but we'll go somewhere around that sort of length. But we're making progress. Lovely. So next step will be designing how I want to do the drawbar. Like I say, it'll be similar to the camper trailer. So it will be your typical V running beams across, and then I'll do 2 long rails, then a simple sort of half hexagonal shape to mount the axle across. I think if you sat there and stuck it out without coffee breaks and smokos, you could smash a trailer out like this in a couple of hours. And they're pretty strong. Lovely. Alright, so in the next one, we'll do the drawbar and look at the axle mount setups.